Today, I am taking up the topic evidences in support of organic evolution. Evidences are very important to support any theory. Without proper evidences, the theory is useless. Take the example of Lamarckism. The Lamarckism has no supporting evidences, so it is not generally accepted. On the other hand, the theory of natural selection proposed by Charles Darwin has a number of evidences. Darwinism is supported by evidences available from various fields of biology. Now let us see how these evidences support the occurrence of organic evolution. First we will take up paleontological evidences. Paleontology means study of fossils. Fossils are the hard remains of the organisms that have lived in the past. The fossils are preserved in the layers of the earth. So the crust of the earth is made of a number of layers. The deepest layers contain the fossils of very primitive organisms. Only the superficial layers contain the fossils of advanced animals. So this indicates that in the olden days, there were only primitive organisms from which gradually evolved forms appeared on the earth. Then, scientists have worked out the life histories of or evolutionary histories of horse, elephant, camel, etc. based upon the types of fossils available in the crust of the earth. So, they have studied how a primitive animal or primitive ancestor of elephant or camel or horse has evolved into modern forms. All the links are available in a continuous form. Then, in the form of fossils, a number of missing links are found. Missing links means the group of animals that connect two different types of organisms. For example, you take the missing link Semuria. Semuria is the connecting link between amphibians and reptiles. We have not seen the evolution of reptiles from amphibians, but the occurrence of this fossil, Semuria, suggests that or provides evidence that reptiles have evolved from amphibians because it has both the characters of amphibians and reptiles. If reptiles have not evolved from amphibians, there is no chance for the presence of such animals like Semuria. Then Archaeopteryx, very famous reptile bird or bird-like reptile. It was discovered in Germany. Archaeopteryx is considered as a connecting link between reptiles and birds. It exhibits a number of reptilian traits and also avian traits. Like birds, it has feathers. It has a beak. Like a lizard, it has a long tail. It has claws. It has four limbs. Like that, Archaeopteryx exhibits the traits of both birds and reptiles. If evolution has not occurred, there is no chance for the presence of animals like Archaeopteryx. Cyanonathus. Cyanonathus is the connecting link between reptiles and mammals. So existence of Cyanonathus shows that mammals are evolved from reptiles. So in this way, the connecting links, the fossil connecting links support the theory of organic evolution. Then, the geological timetable. Geologists have drawn a timetable known as geological timetable. The geological timetable also provides strongest evidences in support of organic evolution. Then, embryological evidences. The embryology also provides a number of evidences supporting the theory of organic evolution. Now let us see what are these embryological evidences. There is a fundamental similarity in the embryos, early embryos of all vertebrates. You take the embryonic development of a fish, a salamander, a bird, human being, etc. A turtle, human being, etc. If you study the early embryos or the early stages of embryos, all of them look alike. All of them have gills, they have a tail, and you can't distinguish the early embryo of humans from that of a fish or a turtle or a salamander. The special features of various groups of animals appear only in the later stages of development. Then why this fundamental similarity? This fundamental similarity shows that all the vertebrates have evolved from a fish-like ancestor. That's why they reveal a tail and gills during their earliest development. Then, sequence of development stages. If you study the embryology of any multicellular animal, the life of any multicellular animal begins with that of a single cell known as zygote. It indicates that all the multicellular organisms have evolved from a single-celled ancestor. Otherwise, they do not show uniformly a zygote as their starting point of development. Then, in all the animals, the zygote undergoes divisions known as cleavages. Cleavages produce morula. Morula develops into blastula. Blastula develops into gastrula. Gastrula develops the three germinal layers, ectoderm, endoderm, and mesoderm. These are common for all the multicellular animals. Why? This is because they have a common ancestry. The advanced forms have evolved from simple ancestral forms. This is another evidence. Then, recapitulation theory. It was proposed by the scientist Ernest Haeckel. Recapitulation theory states that ontogeny recapitulates phylogeny. Ontogeny means embryonic development. Phylogeny means evolutionary history. So according to this theory, during the embryogenesis, the organisms reveal their evolutionary history. He gave a number of examples. You take the development of frog. During the embryonic development of frog, a tadpole larva appears. The tadpole larva looks like a fish, lives like a fish, and eats like a fish. It has a fish-like body, it has gills for respiration, it has a tail to swim, and it is an aquatic form. If fishes are not the ancestors of amphibians, there is no chance for the appearance of a fish-like tadpole larva during the embryonic development of frog. Similarly, you take the life history of butterfly. Butterfly has wings, it flies, and it feeds on nectar. But during its embryonic development, a caterpillar larva appears. The caterpillar larva is worm-like. It resembles an earthworm. It feeds on leaves. Why a worm-like larva appears during the life history of a butterfly? This is because annelids were the ancestors of insects. That's why worm-like stage appears during the development of butterflies. Then, you take the development of human beings. We don't have gills. We don't have a tail. But during our embryonic development, we develop gills like a fish and a tail like a fish. Later on, they gradually disappear. Why they should appear in our or during our embryo development. This is again because fishes were our ancestors. That's why we show the fish-like traits during our embryonic development. That is how recapitulation theory also supports the occurrence of organic evolution. Then, evidences from comparative anatomy. There are a number of important points. Homologous organs. Homos means identical. Homologous organs are structurally similar but functionally different. They have the same body construction, but the functions they carry out are different. For example, you take the forelimb of mammals. Here I have given some examples: bat, horse, whale, man, etc. Let us take the forelimb. The forelimb of all these animals, all these mammals, have the same parts. The upper arm, forearm, hand. In the hand we got a wrist, palm, and fingers. If you take the skeletal structures, in the upper arm we find humerus, here radioulna in the forearm. In the wrist we find carpals, in the palm metacarpals, and phalanges in the fingers. If you look at the forelimb of a bat, it is modified into a wing and helps in flying. In the case of horse, it is modified for fast running. Whale, it is modified into a paddle arm to swim in water. In human beings, it is modified to carry out various functions. So functionally, these are different. But if you take the structure, they have the same structure. They have the same bones in different parts of the forearm. Then, why homologous organs appear? Homologous organs appear because of adaptive radiation or divergent evolution. It states that when organisms of the same type migrate into different environments for their survival, their needs will be different. So the needs of animals in different environments will be different. So to live in those environments, suitable modifications occur in their body organization. And this modification is only superficial. Internally, the structures are not altered. Only superficially, the organs are modified to assist the animal to live in that changed environment. That's why in the bats, because they have taken up to air, they have developed a wing. Whales, because they started living in water, they have their forelimbs modified into a paddle-like structure. In the case of hearts, it has adapted for fast running to escape from enemies. So, suitable modifications occurred in the forelimb of the hearts. Like that, whenever the habitat changes, suitable modifications occur in the body organization of animals. But this modification is only superficial. Internally, the structures are the same. The basic plan is the same. Then, examples for adaptive radiation. Best example is finches of Darwin. I have told you the finch birds are found on the Galapagos Islands. All the finch birds have come from the ancestor, which came from the mainland. Mainland means South America. Originally, finch birds migrated to Galapagos Islands and settled on different islands. The environment and also the availability of food was different on different islands. So in course of long history of evolution, the finches have developed different types of beaks. Some have developed a very big and strong beak to crack hard nuts. Some have evolved beaks to eat fruits. Some have evolved beaks to eat only worms. Like that, the beak is modified in different ways to suit their feeding habits. That's why we find great adaptive radiation in the finches of Galapagos Islands. Similarly, the marsupial animals of Australia. Marsupials are a type of mammals. Because there was no competition from eutherians, the marsupial animals or marsupial mammals evolved in different ways in Australia. So, adaptive radiation leads to homologous organs. Then, analogous organs. These are functionally similar, structurally different. When two different groups of animals or organisms come to live in the same type of environment, their needs will be the same. So they develop similar structures or organs. But these organs have a resemblance only superficially. Their internal organization or their anatomy is entirely different. You take the wing of a bird, wing of an insect. They belong to entirely different groups. Insects are invertebrates. Birds are vertebrates. But both have wings. Why they develop wings? Because they have adapted for flying. For flight, a wing is necessary. In insects, a wing has appeared, but the wing is nothing but expanded chitinous membranous structure. Coming to the wing of the birds, in the birds, the entire forelimb is modified into a wing. It is covered with feathers, it has bones, it has muscles, it has nerves, etc. So, though a wing is present in bats and insects, in birds and insects, they resemble only superficially. Their anatomy is entirely different. Then, analogous organs appear due to convergent evolution. Convergent evolution means organisms of different types come to live in a similar type of environment. So, to fly, a wing is required. So, a wing has appeared in an insect and also a bird. Then there are some more examples. There is an eye in octopus. We too have an eye. The eye of octopus and human beings help in seeing things, but they have developed in different ways. The structure is also different, but the function is the same. Similarly, sweet potato and potato. Sweet potato and potato look alike, but sweet potato is due to root modification and potato is due to stem modification. In this way, analogous organs appear due to convergent evolution. Then, vestigial organs. Vestigial organs are the organs that remain in a miniature form due to their loss of function. The vestigial organs are well developed in related organisms and functional. But in the course of time, they have lost function in some animals and remain as diminished organs. You take the example of human beings. According to Wilder Sheem, there are 180 vestigial organs in human beings. Some of them are our wisdom teeth. Then, vermiform appendix. Coccyx. Coccyx is the tail vertebrae still remaining in our body. Body hair. Nipples in men. Plica semilunaris. In the inner corner of the eye, we have a reduced structure called plica semilunaris. It is nothing but the vestige of the third eyelid. Once we had 3 eyelids, but the third eyelid, which is known as the nictitating membrane, has lost function and remains as plica semilunaris. Then they take our ears, pinna, we call it as pinna. Pinna has muscles. In animals like cattle, you see, they can move their ears in different directions. We have lost the function of turning our ear because the ear muscles are in vestigial form. They are no longer serving their purpose. So in this way, we have nearly 180 types of vestigial organs. How to explain the presence of vestigial organs if God has created? God will not provide useless structures. Unless evolution has taken place, there is no possibility of occurrence of vestigial organs. Vestigial organs are also found in a number of other animals. You take the example of whale and python. In whale and python, hind limbs and pelvic girdle occur in the form of vestiges. You take the flightless birds, ostrich. In flightless birds, the wings are reduced or remain as vestigial organs. Once upon a time, the ostriches were flying using their wings. But because they stopped flying, the wings have become small, reduced, and now remain as vestigial organs. In this way, we come across vestigial organs in different groups of animals. Then, atavisms. Atavisms means sometimes our ancestral traits appear suddenly. For example, in human beings, tail is absent, but our ancestors had a tail. We have lost the tail due to lack of function. Tail helps in balancing. Primates were tree-living animals. Even our ancestors were primates. They had a well-developed tail because they need a tail for balancing on the trees. Now we are no longer living on the trees. Tail serves no purpose, so it has completely disappeared. But even now, all of a sudden, in some cases, a tail appears in the newborn children. This is called atavism. Sometimes gills appear. Sometimes the entire body is covered by thick hair like monkeys and apes. All these things are known as atavism. Why they appear? Because they were once existing and serving some function in our ancestors. Now because we have evolved in a different direction and they have lost their function, they have disappeared. But still, all of a sudden, now and then, these ancestral traits reappear, and this is known as atavism. Then, connecting links. We have seen some fossil connecting links here. Here, let us see now some of the living connecting links. There is one living connecting link known as the peripatus. Peripatus exhibits the traits of both annelids and arthropods. If annelids have not given rise to arthropods, there is no scope for the presence of animals like peripatus. Existence of peripatus supports that annelids gave rise to arthropods in course of time. God cannot produce an animal that is a hybrid between annelids and arthropods. Similarly, latimeria. It is a living fossil present in the Indian Ocean. This fish, latimeria, exhibits the characters of both fishes and amphibians, supporting the view that amphibians have evolved from bony fishes. Third one, Neopilina galathea. It is a primitive mollusk living in deep sea waters. It exhibits the traits of both annelids and mollusks, indicating that annelids are the ancestors of molluscan animals. In this way, the living connecting links also support the occurrence of organic evolution. Then coming to the evidences from molecular biology. These are very strong evidences. You take the fundamental similarity of cells. You take the cell of any living organism, a plant or animal or anyone. All of them are covered by a plasma membrane made of lipoproteins. In the cells of all living organisms, we come across mitochondria, Golgi apparatus, endoplasmic reticulum, lysosomes, nucleus, chromosomes, etc. Why? Because all the living organisms had a common ancestor. Otherwise, we cannot find this fundamental similarity. Then you take the genetic material. In all higher organisms, the genetic material is only DNA. And DNA is made of only 4 nitrogen bases: adenine, guanine, thymine, and cytosine. When organisms are in millions of types, why all of them have the same type of genetic material? This is because, again, common ancestry. Then you take the energy source. The energy source in all the living organisms is only ATP, adenosine triphosphate. There is no other energy source except ATP. Then all the proteins in all the living organisms are made of only 20 types of amino acids. Why? Again, due to common ancestry. Then, in all the living animals, lipase is the only enzyme that participates in lipid digestion. Then, there is a theory known as, on another point, endocrine glands. You take the vertebrates. In all the vertebrates, from fish to human beings, we find the same type of endocrine glands, and they secrete the same type of hormones having the similar function. For a long time, the diabetic patients were using insulin collected from the pancreas of pigs and cattle. How the insulin collected from a pig or cattle work on human beings? Because the insulin produced in different vertebrates is almost similar. Though there may be some slight difference, but they function almost in the same way. Then, for the metamorphosis of frog, thyroxine is required. Without thyroxine, frog, tadpole larva cannot undergo metamorphosis. If you give human thyroxine to the tadpole larva of frog, it undergoes metamorphosis, indicating that the thyroxine secreted in the frog and human beings is the same. So in this way, then another point, biochemical recapitulations or biogenetic law. During our embryonic development, we show some of our ancestral biochemical reactions. You take, for example, a frog. Frogs excrete urea, but their tadpole larva secretes ammonia like bony fishes. Then you take the development of a bird or a chick. Birds excrete uric acid, but during the embryonic development of a chick, first few days the chick produces ammonia, next urea, and finally uric acid like birds. So in this way, there is recapitulation of biological processes. This is known as biochemical recapitulations. Then, industrial melanism. Industrial melanism is a very good example in support of natural selection, theory of natural selection. In England, there is a moth known as Biston betularia. A scientist known as Bernard Kettlewell conducted some experiments on this moth. This is also known as the peppered moth. It occurs in 2 varieties. One variety is dark in color, and they are known as melanic forms. The other variety is white or grey in color. They are found in England from a long time. Before the Industrial Revolution, the environment was unpolluted, it was clean, and all the tree trunks in England were covered by lichens. So the tree trunks were white in color, and the grey or white colored moths found on the tree trunks become invisible, whereas the melanic forms, being their dark because of their dark color, they are visible when they are on the tree trunks before the industrial melanism. So what happens? Birds can easily spot the melanic forms because they are visible. The white forms are invisible because they merge with the background color. So in the olden days, before Industrial Revolution, melanic forms occurred in few numbers and grey forms occurred in large numbers, because grey forms are protected by nature, black forms are not protected by nature. Then Industrial Revolution took place. After Industrial Revolution, what happened? You must remember one point here. Lichens are very sensitive to pollution. That's why they are considered as pollution indicators. If the pollution increases, lichens die. It's one of the indications to find out the level of pollution. So after Industrial Revolution, at places like Birmingham, what happened? Air pollution increased, lichens died. Then the tree trunks were covered with soot and they turned into black color. Then what happened? On the black background, the melanic forms get protection and the grey forms do not get any protection. So after Industrial Revolution, birds started picking up more grey forms than melanic forms. As a result, the melanic forms or black forms appeared in large numbers and the grey forms appeared in small numbers. So Kettlewell studied two different areas. One area where it is polluted, other area that is not polluted. He recovered more grey forms in non-polluted areas and more melanic forms in polluted areas. So in this way, the experiment conducted by Kettlewell supports the natural selection or theory of natural selection. Nature always selects the organisms that have a better chance of survival over others. That's why in polluted areas, the melanic forms are protected by nature, and in non-polluted areas, grey forms are protected by the nature. In this way, we come across a wide variety of evidences in support of organic evolution. That's why the theory proposed by Charles Darwin has become more acceptable. And at the same time, the theory proposed by Lamarck is not accepted because of lack of supporting evidences. Thank you.